The war had ended 3 days ago, or at least, that's what the broadcast said. But out here, at the edge of the shattered Hellion belt, nothing ever truly ended. The stars were littered with wreckage, debris drifting like frozen corpses of forgotten dreams. The Imperial fleet was gone. The rebellion's ships were half dead. And me. I was just a scavenger, picking through the bones of gods. Beginning, the girl in the ashes. My ship, the Wraith, crept through the silence. Its scanners whispered faint signatures of power caused dying slow deaths. The smell of ozone filled the air as I drifted through the graveyard of war machines. I wasn't looking for trouble, just salvage. Metal. Circuits. Maybe a working reactor if I got lucky. I found something better. The wreckage ahead was an Imperial dreadnought, charred black, still bleeding sparks into the void. Those ships weren't just vessels, they were floating cathedrals, carrying entire legions. But this one was cracked open like an egg. Inside, the corridors were dead. No lights, no movement. My helmet lamp cut through drifting embers and frozen bodies. Imperial soldiers lay where the blast had taken them, still gripping their weapons, faces calm in death. That's when I heard it. A voice. Faint. Weak. Human. Please, someone. I froze. No one should have been alive in here. I followed the sound to a collapsed bulkhead. Beneath twisted metal and shattered glass, I saw a hand, small, pale, trembling. My suit's scanners detected life signs. Weak but real. Hang on, I said through my comms, though I doubted she could hear. I've got you. I pried the debris off, piece by piece, until her face came into view, blooded, half covered in soot, a mess of silver hair tangled with wires. Her breathing was shallow. Her uniform, ripped, scorched, wasn't standard issue. It shimmered faintly, woven with threads of something I didn't recognize. Her eyes fluttered open, a piercing shade of violet. Who are you? She whispered. Just a scavenger, I said. Name's Kade. I'm getting you out. She tried to speak but coughed blood. You shouldn't be here. Story of my life, I muttered, cutting the last metal bar trapping her. I lifted her into my arms, weightless in the low gravity, and carried her back through the dead halls of her empire. As I sealed the airlock behind us, she whispered something before passing out. Don't let them find me. At the time, I didn't know what them meant. I was about to find out. Middle, the heir of the empire. She slept for almost a day in my med bay. Her wounds were bad, shrapnel burns, oxygen deprivation, cracked ribs. But she was alive. When she finally woke, I was in the cockpit, watching the starfield drift by. Her reflection appeared behind me in the glass. Where am I? She asked softly. Safe, I said. For now. She stepped closer, steadying herself on the wall. You're not with the Empire. Not anymore. Used to run guns for both sides, till I figured neither deserved to win. Her expression flickered, half suspicion, half curiosity. You should have left me there. Yeah, I said, turning to face her. But I don't leave people to die. She studied me, like she wasn't sure if that made me a fool or something rarer. You have no idea what you've done. Enlighten me. She hesitated, then straightened her posture, wincing slightly. My name is Arian Vallis. I blinked. The name was familiar, almost myth. Wait. Vallis? As in? Yes, she said quietly. As in the Imperial line. I stared at her. You're saying I just pulled the princess of the Empire out of a wreck? Her eyes held mine, and there was no lie there. Only exhaustion. You did. I sat back, stunned. Every bounty hunter, pirate, and vengeful rebel in the quadrant would gut me for half that news. The Empire had fallen, their emperor executed, their fleets shattered. But their enemies still hunted their survivors, especially the royals. "I can't stay here," she said. "They'll track me." "Who's they?" I asked. "The usurpers," she whispered. "The ones who destroyed the throne. They want the bloodline erased. If they know you helped me, they'll erase you too." I leaned forward. "Then we keep you hidden." Her brow furrowed. "Why? You owe me nothing." "Maybe not," I said, "but I've seen enough dead people for one lifetime." For the next few days, I patched her armor, rationed my food, and rerouted my ship's energy to keep us off-grid. She barely spoke, lost in thoughts that belonged to galaxies I'd never seen. But sometimes, I caught her humming soft, haunting melodies that made the stars outside feel closer. One night, I brought her a mug of synth coffee and found her standing in the viewport, staring at the wrecked constellations. "My father used to tell me," she said, "that the stars remember every battle. Every death becomes light." "Maybe that's true," I said. "But they forget faster than we do." She smiled faintly. "You speak like a soldier." "Used to be. Before the Empire's war burned everything I had." "Then why save me?" she asked again, eyes narrowing. "I represent everything you lost." I looked out the window. "Maybe. Or maybe saving you is how I stop hating what's left." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, softly, she whispered, "Thank you, Kade." Middle continued, "The price of blood." We drifted near the old relay moons, trying to find safe passage to the outer reaches. But the Empire had many enemies, and one of them found us first. A Hunter-class ship dropped out of warp behind us. Its insignia flashed red, Rebel Vanguard. They hailed us immediately. "This is Captain Soren Hale of the Free World Reclamation Fleet," the comms barked. "Unidentified vessel, power down and prepare for boarding." Arian stiffened. "He's one of them. He led the assault on the Imperial Citadel." "Great," I muttered. "He's your fan club president." I cut the engines, but secretly primed the jump drive. If I could stall, maybe we could slip away. A few minutes later, the rebels stormed aboard 5 armored soldiers, weapons drawn. Their captain stepped forward, grinning beneath his scarred faceplate. "Kade Renner," he said, recognizing me. "Didn't think you'd crawl back into my sights. What's your haul this time?" "Scrap," I lied. "Mostly junk." "Then you won't mind if we look." He gestured, and his men spread out. One of them forced open the med bay door. And then the princess stepped out. Her hair still glimmered faintly silver, her bearing regal despite the simple clothes I'd given her. Even blooded and bruised, she looked like someone the stars themselves might kneel to. The captain froze. His voice dropped. "By the void, it's her." Arian didn't flinch. "Captain Hale. You should have stayed dead," he hissed. Before I could move, he raised his pistol. She didn't move either. Just looked at him calmly, like she'd already accepted it. I didn't think, I just acted. My blaster roared. The bolt hit his shoulder, throwing him back. Chaos exploded in the corridor. I tackled one of his men, ripped the rifle from his grip, and fired down the hall. Arian ducked behind me, grabbing a fallen sidearm and firing with precision no royal tutor ever taught. Within seconds, the boarding party was down. Smoke filled the air. Breathing hard, I turned to her. "Are you hit?" She shook her head. "No. But they'll send more. Then we run." Ending, the crown of ashes. We jumped through a dead gate to the outer systems, engines screaming. I rerouted every watt of power to propulsion. When we finally dropped out of hyperspace, the ship was shaking, but alive.